Today we're going to talk a little bit about simplest form. I'm going to present this in two parts. The first part will be understanding greatest common factor. Part 2 will be actually performing simplest form. Simplest form is when the numerator and the denominator can only be divided by 1, or the numerator and the denominator have the greatest common factor of 1. The greatest common factor is the largest factor common to a set of numbers. Now, students should already know that a factor is a number that makes up a multiplication problem. For example, 3 times 5 equals 15. 3 and 5 are both the factors, and 15 is the product. Now, let's create some factor rainbows for the following set of numbers to find the greatest common factor. 18. When we make a factor rainbow, we choose all of the numbers that could give us that we're looking for. We know that 1 times anything is that anything, so 1 times 18 is 18. I also know that if a number ends in an even number, such as 8, that 2 could get me to that number. So I know that 2 times 9 will get me to 18. I also know my multiples of 3, so I know that 3 times 6 get me to 18. However, 4 will not get me to 18, and neither will 5. So these are all of the factors needed to make up 18. Let's look at 27. Again, 1 times anything will give me that anything, and in this case 27 is the anything I'm talking about. 2 won't work because anything times 2 will result in an even number, and we know by looking at the ones place that 27 is odd. But I do also know that my 3's will give me 3 times 9 is 27. Now again, let's get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. None of these digits are included as a factor of 27. Therefore, 1, 3, 9, and 27 are the only factors that will make up 27. Now let's look at 45. Again, 1 times anything will get me to that anything. 2. Again, 2 will not work because 2 times anything will result in an even number, and I know that looking at the ones place, this is not an even number. 3. 3 times 15 will get me to 45, and I only know that by knowing my multiples of 15. Might be a good idea to start practicing our multiples of 15. Let's try 4. 4 times nothing. 4 times 11 will get me 44, but not to 45. Now 5. I know that 5 is in the same fact family with 9 to get me 45. So these are all of the factors that will get me to 45. When we look and compare all of them, because I started with all of the smaller factors on the left, beginning with 1, I'm only going to look at my right side where my larger factors are, and I see that the greatest common factor is 9 in all 3 cases. Knowing the greatest common factor will come in handy, especially if you have a fraction such as 18 over 45. Knowing that 18 has a factor of 9 and 45 has a factor of 9, I'm going to divide the top and the bottom, the numerator and the denominator, by 9. I know that 18 divided by 9 is 2, and I know that 45 divided by 9 is 5. I know that 2/5 is simplest form for 18 over 45 because 2 and 5 cannot be divided by the same factor any longer. So 2/5 is simplest form for 18 over 45.